What is up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. And today we're going to be talking about if the Monsterverse should continue and how should they continue. So before we start off today's video, make sure you subscribe and turn on notification bells. Over here on this channel, we talk about movies, movie news, and everything in the wonderful world of movies. We do reviews, we do trailer reactions, we do live streams, we do videos like this all the time. As you can see from my background, I'm a big movie fan. And if you're new to the channel, welcome to the Isaac the Film Geek YouTube channel. Over here, like I said, we talk a lot about movies, and if you want to help support us and more than just YouTube, then go ahead and follow us on our Instagram and Twitter, link in the description down below at Isaac the Film Geek. This is the Isaac the Film Geek YouTube channel. This is the channel where all movie fans can be movie fans the way they intended to. And basically, we're going to be talking about if the Monsterverse should continue. Now, I'm going to give my quick opinions on the Monsterverse in general. I'm going to go by all four movies, which is Godzilla 2014, Kong Skull Island, Godzilla King of the Monsters, and then just recently Godzilla versus Kong. Now, this video isn't going to be how much I love the universe. I'm going to be talking about how if they should continue and what movies they should go forward. Now, I'm a big kaiju fan. I grew up a kaiju fan. I love Godzilla. I love Kong. And I love the characters like Mothra, King Ghidorah, Mecha Godzilla, all these other creatures from the MonsterVerse that I grew up watching. Like I said, again, I'm a big kaiju fan. And Godzilla 2014. Godzilla 2014 is a film I really enjoyed. I had a lot of fun with it. Kong Skull Island, the same thing. I had a lot of fun with it, and I really enjoyed it. Godzilla King of the Monsters, though, as beautiful as the film looks, and one of the best fight scenes in all of the kaiju MonsterVerse universe, with King Ghidorah fighting Godzilla. As great as that scene is, the whole rest of the movie to me was dreadful and boring and god awful. Still enjoyed it. Godzilla vs Kong. I gotta say this. Godzilla vs Kong's trailer was really, really, really good, and I'm gonna say this: it's one of the most perfect trailers of all time. However, I think the film really wasn't that good. Uh, I thought the Godzilla and Kong stuff was amazing. I especially loved Kong in this film, obviously. I loved the little girl who communicated with Kong, but other than that, the movie was bad. The movie was really bad. The pacing was terrible. The characters were terrible. And this is a whole broad thing. So even though I enjoyed Godzilla vs. Kong, and I still think it's the second best MonsterVerse movie, just behind Kong Skull Island, I think there's a growing rapid problem. Now, we're actually going to go ahead and show the screen right now. This is the box office. Godzilla 2014 made 200 million, and on opening, it made 93 million. Kong Skull Island made 168 million. All right, yeah, 168 million, but 61 in the opening. And then King of the Monsters made 110 a lifetime, and it opened to 47. You can already see there's a decline in opening and also in lifetime. Godzilla vs. Kong, we're going to cut that out when it comes to money because let's be honest. Let's be honest. If Godzilla vs. Kong had come out, no pandemic, no HBO Max, this film would have made $1 billion in the box office. But because of the asterisks to it, how it couldn't perform like a regular movie because of the pandemic, and then HBO Max, it's like I'm gonna go ahead and cut that one out. But the rest, you can already see there's a rapid decline on people liking King of the Monsters. To me, failed financially. Now, was it successful? Yes, financially, but it didn't succeed the way they wanted it to. And to me, a Godzilla movie should be going up to that level. Now, we're gonna go look at the Rotten Tomato scores, and I know a lot of people are gonna say Rotten Tomatoes doesn't count. To me, it does count because it's a bunch of critics. They get the percentages, and to me, it's the best scoring, the best score wise. Even though I've disagreed, that I still think they're the best at how they score their films. And look, 76%, that's pretty good. 66% with the audience, that's all right. That's pretty good. King of the Monsters, look at King of the Monsters, 42%. Yes, it got 83% audience, but you got to also worry about the critic rating. Godzilla vs. Kong had a good critic rating. Now, let me actually go ahead and find Kong Skull Island. Uh, Mostly because I didn't actually have that up here already. uh, Kong Skull Island. 75% tomato meter, 69% audience score. But once again, we have to look at things and say that the MonsterVerse has been in rapid decline. Now, I think Godzilla vs. Kong is an absolute win financially because who would have thought that it would have opened to 43 million in the box office? Like that right there was a surprise. And I know a lot of kaiju fans are going to get mad at me when I say this, but I don't see this movie I don't see the Monsterverse continuing better than what Godzilla vs Kong is. And I've said this before. I think Godzilla vs Kong succeeded for two reasons. Number one, that trailer was amazing. Whoever edited that trailer deserves a raise. The music, the all the scenes they decided to put in that trailer. I gotta give praise when praise is due. That trailer was just it was almost nearly perfect how they implemented that trailer. And number two, it's two big titans. Here are the names. To people outside of the kaiju fandom, here Godzilla versus Kong, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. And to fans, to people who are just the general audience, that's interesting. And they're like, "Whoa, Godzilla and Kong fighting in the movie." And not only that, on top of that, look at the trailer. The trailer just dropped on Super Bowl. People saw, "Wait, Godzilla versus Kong's happening? Whoa." And they go to it. But let's be honest, Godzilla is not very profitable in the States. Look at King of the Monsters. King of the Monsters should have made more. But let's be honest with ourselves, that it failed where it should have succeeded. And so then you're wondering, how is the kaiju universe even going to succeed now? Because the biggest complaint of the kaiju universe is the human characters. But again, how do you make a kaiju movie without any talking humans? Now I get it. There should be less, and there should be, or actually, no. I think the problem is they need to write the humans better. But clearly, Warner Bros. And Legendary don't know how to write human characters. That's simple as that. And a lot of people are tired of it. A lot of people didn't like Godzilla vs. Kong. Almost everyone I know has said the same thing. Oh, I really like the Godzilla vs. Kong fighting, but the humans are terrible. And that is a problem with the Monsterverse. The Monsterverse, storytelling, the humans are terrible, and it makes it disinterests people, especially with the film like Godzilla King of the Monsters, that the humans were at peak its worst. Like truly, in King of the Monsters, one of the biggest problems was the humans. Godzilla, awesome. But again, in the States, here in the USA, one of the biggest markets in all the box office, they don't like Godzilla. Just look at the King of the Monsters. And before you say, oh, but Godzilla vs. Kong did well, after Godzilla vs. Kong, what can you do? Yes, we have great characters in the kaiju universe. Any kaiju fan out there knows that we have a lot of great characters. We have Mothra, we have King Dora, we have all these amazing characters we could just make stories with. But let's be honest, if fans aren't interested in Godzilla, then how are they going to be interested in a Mothra? And now that comes to the answer to my answer, and that is there really is no way to have a future in the MonsterVerse unless you just pin Godzilla and Kong all the time. Because that title worked. That title worked in its favor. Godzilla versus Kong. Who doesn't want to see two iconic monsters go head to head on the big screen? Who doesn't? But you look at films like King of the Monsters and Skull Island. Skull Island did pretty well, let's be honest. And Godzilla 2014, King of the Monsters, they didn't do as well as people expected. Now, Kong, I'll be honest, if they were to continue and just do Kong movies after this, I think those would do well because Skull Island's very loved. And Godzilla vs. Kong, one of the things everyone loved most was Kong. But I don't think they can go ahead with Godzilla. And I was Team Godzilla. I'm Team Godzilla all the way, man. I made 2 entire videos about how much I was Team Godzilla. But let's be honest, Godzilla is just not a franchise anymore. And if it is, it's not here in the States. In Japan, it is. But here in the States, Godzilla is not as popular of an IP as it is. And now that comes to the question, should Godzilla vs. Kong continue? Or should the Monsterverse continue? My answer is I want it to continue, but at some point we have to stop and look. Are people really going to want to see an entire universe of just giant monsters screaming at each other and fighting? No, because it became stale. I remember King of the Monsters, even though it looked beautiful, the fighting scenes, you start wondering, okay, what next? How long can you go? Can you really do a Marvel and continue with 20 movies? Like that to me, it just shows that how do you do it? How do you exactly make something like that? I mean, the box office itself. Look, let me go ahead and show the box office again. And before you say the box office doesn't matter, oh boy, you're wrong. The box office is probably the most important thing for all movies. Look at the decline, both opening and lifetime. Ignore Godzilla vs Kong because that one has an asterisk to it. But look at it. Look right now at all these first 3 films. You see a decline because nobody cares. Nobody cares about the MonsterVerse. In fact, when I was talking to friends before Godzilla vs Kong, none of them had seen King of the Monsters. None of them had seen Skull Island. None of them have seen Godzilla 2014. And those who did, they didn't seem to care when it came to Godzilla vs Kong. Why? Because Godzilla vs Kong to me is a movie that knew what it was. It didn't take itself serious, and it understood that no most people probably didn't even see the past few movies. And then you're wondering, okay, so what's next? What's next for the MonsterVerse? Sure, this movie did well, but it's because of Godzilla vs. Kong. That title itself is going to attract attention from the general audience. Some examples I like to use is my friends who aren't big movie fans like I am. When they hear this title, Godzilla vs. Kong, they're like, "Oh, I want to see that big lizard, big monkey fight." But when they hear Kong alone or Godzilla alone, they're more like, "What should I look forward to?" And that's the thing. You can't like yes, the kaijus have a lot of monsters at their disposal to make films of, but who's going to be interested in that? Look at Godzilla. Let me again show you. Look, King of the Monsters. That's not a good score. That is not a good box office run for Godzilla King of the Monsters. And that is Godzilla, the biggest bad monster of all of them. And so you look at that score right there. And look, it had more theaters. Look, I didn't even realize that. But look, max theaters. More, but it made less both lifetime and opening. That's not good. That's not good. Now, Godzilla vs. Kong. Yes, Godzilla vs. Kong to me is what I call the first win in all the MonsterVerse. I think that's a win, especially during a pandemic. That's a big win because I guarantee you this film would have made $1 billion in the box office if the theaters were open, if HBO Max wasn't here, and if the pandemic didn't exist. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. Uh, and as a fan of the kaiju universe, as much as I want it to continue, how do you continue? Like, really? I hope I'm wrong. I hope that they make another Godzilla or Kong movie and it succeeds. But to me, the only way you can continue is if you make sequels to Godzilla vs. Kong. But how much can you go until Godzilla and Kong starts being stale? Because Godzilla became stale. Nobody really wanted to go watch King of the Monsters. And there's proof. Again, let me pop it up right here. Again, look. King of the Monsters didn't do as well as it should have. Look how much lower it is from the first Godzilla film. And look how much lower it is for Kong Skull Island. Now, Kong Skull Island did all right. And Godzilla 2014 did too. But look at Godzilla King of the Monsters. That's not very good. Now, Godzilla vs. Kong did do pretty well. Let's be honest about that. Like I said, for a pandemic, that is really good. Now, if obviously, let's put out the facts. If this wasn't during a pandemic, if this wasn't during the HBO Max having the film there, obviously, obviously, this would be a massive failure. This would right here, these numbers right here. If this wasn't during a pandemic, this wasn't during the HBO Max, then this would have been bad. Like I think this would be at the level of what happened. Like we would like if this like all the pundits would be like, what happened? What went wrong? And also look, you can see right here, less theaters. And I think that's the underlying problem. The MonsterVerse is just not that interesting anymore. Who wants to see giant CGI animals just fight each other? And that's why I say I don't think it will continue very well. I say this right now. After Godzilla vs. Kong, don't expect more films. Don't or expect a few more films. Don't expect them to be successful. Because before this, everyone was wondering, is the MonsterVerse still gonna succeed? But when that trailer dropped, let's admit it, everyone was excited. But again, this is an issue. It also made 4 million on HBO Max, Godzilla vs Kong, or I think it got 4 million subscriptions. I don't remember, but the film itself, again, let me remind you, the MonsterVerse is not successful. It wasn't before Godzilla vs Kong. Godzilla vs Kong was the first real win. It was the first real win. I'll give it that. But again, this is a worry sign. This is something we need to be worried about. This is something that needs to concern all the MonsterVerse fans. And we need to start wondering what's next? What is next for the MonsterVerse? Because how can they succeed when nobody wants to see the Godzilla films? And I mean, yeah, there's a little demand for Kong because everyone loved Kong. but will it ever really be where they wanted it to be? But hey, that's just my concern. I don't consider the Monsterverse a failure. I consider it more a disappointment because I'll be honest, I haven't loved any of the movies, and most people haven't loved any of them. They've only enjoyed them and liked them. Some hated it. Some did love it. Let's admit that. But me personally, I haven't loved the films yet. Like I said, Godzilla 2014 was an alright film. Kong Skull Island, I had a lot of fun with. It's my favorite one out of all of them. I really enjoyed it. King of the Monsters was a big disappointment to me. Like I said, it had some of the best fights I've ever seen, but it was still a disappointment storytelling wise and the characters. And this was the movie with the worst human beings, with the worst humans. Because at least Godzilla 2014 was somewhat interesting, especially with Aaron Taylor Johnson. And Godzilla vs Kong felt like another installment of that. You know, the CGI fights were amazing, but the storytelling was really at best. It's a film that I couldn't even watch a second time, even though I was Godzilla vs Kong for 2 years in a row was the movie I was most excited for because I'm such a big kaiju fan. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comment sections down below. Do you think they should continue? Do you think they shouldn't? Whatever it is, drop your comments down below. And again, if you're new to the channel, this is the Isaac the Film Geek YouTube channel, and we'd love to have you guys be a part of the film fan community. All you have to do is subscribe and turn on the notification bells. That way you can be notified for future content here on the channel. And yeah, smash the like button, help this video in the algorithm, and comment down below what are your thoughts on this overall. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Isaac the Film Geek to help support us in anything besides YouTube. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye.